Hey, yo, what's up? It's Paul Sean, and today I'm here to talk about is gear better than content? So now, when I hear people say, oh, content is more important than gear, are you talking about story or are you talking about just like overall everything content-wise? So let's get one thing straight. Gear is just as important as content. So when I say content, I'm talking about story wise. If the only thing that's important is the story, the thing you got is a book. The difference between a film and a book is a film incorporates everything and a book just have words. I'm not saying that get the most expensive gear. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about gear in general is just as important as a story. Think about it. Let's say that, oh, you have a camera, oh, and I have a story. The only thing you can get with just a camera and a story is just basic shots. You can't get no aerial shots. You can't get no dolly shots. You can't get no sliding shots or trucking shots. And some of you thinking like, yeah, you can get shots without a dolly, without a slider. You can, but how smooth will it be? Your aim is not just to throw shots in there. Your aim is to get the most smoothest, most professional looking shots. And if it means building something on your own, that's cool. I'm not saying don't build nothing. I'm not saying go out there and buy the most expensive gear. I'm not even saying go out there and buy something. If you can make it on your own, go ahead. If you can make a slider, a DIY slider, go ahead. If you make a DIY dolly, go ahead. But at the end of the day, it's still gear. And gear is there to make everything easy. And when I say easy, I'm not talking about being lazy. When I say easy, I mean faster and efficient. All right. When you're in a run and gun situation, you want everything to be like dot 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 dot. You don't want everything to be like dot. Oh wait, I messed up. Dot. Wait, dot. Oh, I gotta go back. Once you have gear, it makes everything way smoother and faster. Now, some of you may be thinking that's not all the time because when you have like big gear, it takes a while to set up. That's true. But with technology moving at an exponential rate, everything is becoming smaller, more portable, and way more easier. Do you know how many types of lights we have? In the film industry, they using tungsten lights, HMI, halogens. I had an 800 watt light before. That is so hot. And when I was under it, I was sweating. But now we have these, I'm using the Aperture 120 right now, and I'm using the Godox something, I forgot. These are LED lights, and they're not hot at all. Hell, if I want to, I can turn this all the way up. That is bright, right? Oh, but it's not hot. It's not hot at all. And now they came out with the 120D Mark II, which can do lightning effects, fireworks. You have lights out there that can simulate fire. TV, the Mark II can simulate TV. When I was on the set one time, I saw people use some quasar lights, and they had like a dimmer with them, and they had to like manually dim it up and down in order to simulate light. That's what we did in my on one of my sets that we had to do. So you have lights that can simulate TVs now, automatically automated. You have lights that can simulate police sirens. The difference between just content and gear is that everything in film makes a film. It's just not the story. The story is important. Everything is equally important. Every department is important, right? You have your wardrobe department. That's important. Let's say if you have a film set in the 1500s and they wearing modern clothes, would that make any sense? No. So the wardrobe department is important. The actors are important, all right? You have the camera and lighting department. That's important. The light shape the way your film is. Sound is definitely important. That's what sometimes separates professional to indie. When you have most indie films, their audio is so terrible. It's like they belong on a sci-fi network. Visual effects, that's important too. Even when you think visual effects is just not explosions. Visual effects is way more than that. I'm a VFX artist and a DP, so VFX is way more than that. Most of VFX you don't even notice, you don't even see. Some of that stuff is cleanup work. Some of that stuff could be just fixing something. That's still visual effects. And visual effects is an important component with film. Everything when it comes to film is important, and everything has an equal responsibility. If one thing is off, the whole movie is off. That's what separates professional film to a indie film. And when I say indie, I don't mean nothing like, oh, it's terrible or nothing, but most indie films have that amateurish feel because they don't have a big production behind them. But the thing is, you don't need a big production in order to create something that's awesome. I've seen a lot of short films that give me that cinematic, actual professional cinematic film that feel like it's supposed to be in the movies. Usually that comes down to probably neglecting one of the departments. Is gear important? Yes, but it's not about the cost. It's about the actual gear. It's about the person behind it. But if you don't have gear, what do you have to stand behind? Nothing. So at the end of the day, gear is just as important as anything else because gear is what shapes your film. Gear is what makes this dolly shot work. It doesn't matter how much it costs. The fact is, it's gear. It could be $1, but if it gets the job done, at the end of the day, it's still gear, and that's what's important. Gear is just as important as content, i.e. story. If you just have a story, you might as well write a book. I'm Paul Shine, and I don't know the outro to this. But I will see you next time in another video where I tell you why you shouldn't fly a drone in the house. Bang.